Nicky Henderson trains Barry Geraghty on board. The ground has dried to suit him. That's number 12, Shaker Vilts. Paul Townend taking a key ride for Willie Mullins. That's a name to spot for the future, but the horse today is a 50-to-1 shot. Number 13 is Tasbar. A live chance, thinks Eddie Fremantle. A 40-to-1 shot for Keith Reevely and his son James, and that's What You Think. He's wearing blinkers for the first time. He's run well in some good races and consistently this season. The blinkers designed to add that little bit of edge, and we briefly saw Eddie Mighty Man, who of course returns here. This would be a great story, and Henry Daly has got a very good record of producing horses first time out at the festival. This horse hasn't run for 686 days since narrowly failing, as so many have, against Ingles Driver.
Yeah, Henry's produced Young Spartacus to win after a similar layoff a few years back, and Palashan was second after a long layoff as well, so he can do it. This horse is always much better at Aintree, Mighty Man. Ran a tremendous race to be second, I think, to Ingles Driver, and one of Ingles Driver's wins, but then reversed the form at Aintree, which is really a track that suits him much better.
These are close-up shots of the jockeys. See the tension rippling across their faces. Barry Geraghty concentrating hard on the task ahead on Punchestown Stand. Dennis O'Regan already pulled the goggles down on No Refuge. And that is young Keith Reevely. My, that would be a story, wouldn't
young
it?
James Reevely.
Sorry, James Reevely, sorry.
Keith Reevely's his dad.
I know. Just a slip. There they are milling round at the start then. And how do you see this playing out? Casbar Bliss, does he need to be a better horse than he was last year?
Well, about the same, I think. He's got to be. He'll have to be good, because Punchestown is shown himself to be good, and I'm sure he wasn't quite ready last time and was giving £8 away. Big Bucks is a big player as well. Tasbar Bliss, the reason I fancy Tasbar a little bit is because, one, the time was faster than Casbar Bliss at Haydock, and two, he was trying to give £16 to Pennock, who finished just behind him in third place. He conceded for £16 to Pennock, who's run so well in the Pertemps. So, you know, he shouldn't have been. He was fifth, 40-to-1. He shouldn't have been as big as 40-to-1.
Money for Power Station, of course, specialist money for Tasbar as well. Big Bucks defeated Punchestown last time. Punchestown was conceding weight. It's different ground here. Do you see the form being reversed?
I do myself. I think £8 is a massive in over 3 miles. And I think this horse has got more gears than Big Bucks, and I think they'll need gears at the end of this race, even though it is a strong stamina test. Fairalong should be ensuring that.
I don't agree about the gears thing. I thought there was malleability to Big Bucks when Ruby Wilsh wanted to go right and Robert Thornton wanted to go left on Blazing Bailey when they last met. It was Big Bucks who readily responded, albeit on different ground. I take that point.
Okay, and certainly when he won over fences at Aintree last year, he showed some speed in the race, so yeah, maybe you're probably right, Lydia.
The race will tell us.
Stepped down quite quickly.
Disappointingly so, Eddie. But rumours, aren't there, that Christophe Pure might well retire, and when I was speaking to Francois Dumas on Monday evening for Festival Radio, he did seem to think that would be the case also. 17
times champion of France, so McCoy's got something to aim at there if he wants to.
Not too shabby himself, though.
Yeah, a record that McCoy hasn't yet broken.
And there is Christophe Pure, a power-packed package of a jockey, and looking to go one better than last time. And I think they're coming in for the 2009 Ladbrokes World Hurdle Grade 1, for which Casbar Bliss is going to go off favourite at 10-11. Punchestown has been back, lots of confidence in him. Big Bucks pretty much sticking to the same price. He needs covering up. Ruby Walsh rides him quite brilliantly, and will need to do so again, and this is his most difficult task over hurdles yet. But I think the goggles are coming down. Certainly Robert Thornton is reaching for his on board Blazing Bailey. He hasn't quite been the same horse so far this season. Afsoon is a wash, which is typical of him.
Yeah, and another one for Steve Mellish's theory that the girth strap makes them sweat a bit, although Tasbar's not sweating with a girth, breast girth, and
neither is
Punchestown.
Great theory. Hits the dust. I think they're wheeling round for the start of this race. Goggles down. Time to get excited. We're going to know who the world hurdler is. A new world hurdler, a new staying hurdle champion is going to be crowned here. I was getting excited prematurely, wasn't I? I'm a minute away from the off. I kept thinking it was 3:15.
Yeah, 1 minute. The course commentator Mark Johnson has just told us. So you'll have to listen to us for a bit longer.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. Your live outsider is Tasbar.
Yeah, I just think that was only the third run of the season. He's fresh. Not that some of the other opposition aren't, but he missed Cheltenham last year to go to Aintree, by which time he was probably over the top. So worth a go at a big price.
I think Petit Four could run well at a big price.
Definitely.
Because he was going forward at the start of the season, then started the form sort of plateaued and faltered, but that did coincide with the yard plateauing and faltering.
Yeah, I noticed he was 100 to 1 in a place this morning, and that just much too big. Yeah, well, the more you look at it, the more there are little bits and pieces of chances outside the front three.
It's just hard to work out whether Petit Four himself might have plateaued and come to the end of what improvement there was, or whether it was connected with the yard. I suppose we're going to find out in a few moments' time. It is now post time, says Mark Johnson, so now we're surely not very far away from the start of the 2009 Ladbrokes World Hurdle. Caswell Bliss is clearly going to be held up. Christophe Pure waiting for a rear position. Let's join Mark Johnson then for the call.
And they're off for the 2009 running of the Ladbrokes World Hurdle, race 54 of the Order of Merit. Caswell Bliss is anchored right at the back of the field by Christophe Pierre on the run down the back straight towards flight number 1. And it's 2 of the 3 Irish runners who are going head-to-head to the first flight. What You Think has taken a clear advantage. So Shakerville's over in second, and then Mighty Man, the inside of Fair Along, who jumped it, joined at the hip in 3rd and 4th positions. Blazing Bailey is racing in 5th, followed then by Punches Towns towards the outside. On the inside is Tazbar next, as they go over flight number 2, and over that one, still the back marker was Caswell Bliss. Last but one was No Refuge. What You Think, the leader, hasn't got terribly high at either the first 2 flights, comes now towards the 3rd, jumps that one a little bit quicker and a little bit better. He's out in front by about a length and a half. To in second is Shakervilles, and then in 3rd is Mighty Man with his characteristic low head carriage. Racing in 4th is Fair Along, and Blazing Bailey is racing in 5th. Punches Towns is in 6th, and then towards the inside Afsoon in a share of 7th with Petit Four. Power Station between horses. Big Bucks is next, followed by Mobusher, and then Tazbar, No Refuge, and Caswell Bliss, as is wont, waited with at the back of the field by Christophe Pierre as they crossed over flight number 4, and the first to last split now is a good 12 lengths. So they climb to the top of the hill, and it's Davy Russell and What You Think, lit up by the blinkers first time. He leads the way in the Ladbrokes World Hurdle by about 2 lengths to a fellow Irish raider, Shakervilles, racing in second. A break of a length and a half to Fair Along in 3rd, and Mighty Man is in 4th position, and the early paces look pretty generous. Towards the inside, Blazing Bailey is racing in 5th. On his outside is Punches Towns, followed then a length and a half away by Power Station, and then Afsoon as they begin to make the run down the hill for the first time. Mobusher is towards the outside, tracking the leading group with Petit Four just in advance of him, and then the noseband of Big Bucks with only 3 behind. The big white blaze on the inside is No Refuge. Caswell Bliss is taken quite wide by Pierre as they come down the hill for the first time, and over that flight we have a new back marker, and that was Tazbar. So about to make the run now into the home straight, a long run before they cross over flight number 6, and it's What You Think, and Davy Russell still lead the way to Paul Townend and Shakervilles racing in second. On the inside, Sam Thomas, Mighty Man is in 3rd, Richard Johnson, Fair Along in 4th. Then on the inside, Robert Thornton, Blazing Bailey in 5th, followed then in 6th by Barry Geraghty on Punches Towns, and then Power Station, Petit Four, Afsoon towards the inside, who's raced freely in the early stages. Big Bucks and Mobusher next in the field as they come towards flight number 6. It will be the last in a circuit's time in the Ladbrokes World Hurdle. Caswell Bliss has got 2 behind early. They are No Refuge, and Tazbar at the moment is beginning to struggle at the back of the field. A circuit to go in the Ladbrokes World Hurdle. What You Think leads up here by 3 parts of a length to Shakervilles racing in second. 3 parts of a length away, Mighty Man is in 3rd. Another 3/4 of a length to Fair Along in 4th. Half a length to the inside, Blazing Bailey is in 5th. Half a length to the outside, Punches Towns is in 6th. A length and a half to Afsoon in a line with Petit Four and Power Station. A further 3/4 of a length, Big Bucks, who's going well. Mobusher is out deep on the track, followed by No Refuge. Last but one now is Caswell Bliss, and a further 2.5 lengths back to Tazbar. Now they're through the halfway point, heading off now towards flight number 7, and as they do so, What You Think is still out in front, but now it is a pressurised lead with Shakervilles on his outside, Fair Along, and wider still, Punches Town is also getting a little bit closer now. Mighty Man is towards the inside. Blazing Bailey is just niggled along for the first time as they go over the second of the flights down the back straight. Fair Along didn't get terribly high, landing flat-footed, but also outpaced his Tazbar. Quickly they go now towards flight number 9. What You Think with Shakerville to his outside jumped it better. Punches Town jumped it in a very close 3rd. Mighty Man, he's just beginning to niggle along now on Fair Along, likewise on Petit Four. Now Caswell Bliss beginning to make his move towards the outside. Going with him is Power Station, Mobusher, and now Ruby's just beginning to niggle along on Big Bucks as they go now towards the third from home, and it is Shaker Vills on the outside of what you think Punchestown is only half a length or even closer away as they go over that flight of hurdles. They're bunching up at the head of affairs. Afsoon is getting badly outpaced now, so too is No Refuge, but now he's beginning to creep so much closer on Casbar Bliss as they have reached the top of the hill, 5 of them virtually in line. Punchestown has just put his nose in front now to Shaker Vills. Towards the inside is What You Think, and then Petit Four. Pushed very wide is Casbar Bliss, but he's got clear sailing now as they come down the hill. Fair Along is next in the field, followed by Power Station. Mighty Man in all-out drive, so too is Big Bucks as they race on now inside the final 3.5 furlongs. They just have the 2 more flights of hurdles to take, and for the first time Christophe Pierre has asked Casbar Bliss to try and pick them up. Punchestown and Casbar Bliss, these two now go on with Power Station between horses. Over the second from home, Punchestown's had the lead. Power Station is hanging on in there. Casbar Bliss towards the outside. Big Bucks is staying on next as they begin to make the turn, and it is Punchestown who got first run, and he's out in front now by 2.5 lengths, and he has thrown the gauntlet down. Big Bucks is staying on. Now Casbar Bliss is having to be driven on the outside. Power Station is towards the inside. They have gone clear. Still, they've got over 1.5 furlongs to go. 1 more flight to take. Punchestown now being tackled by Big Bucks towards the outside. Casbar Bliss needs to pick it up over the final flight. Punchestown's more fluent there than Big Bucks in second. Casbar Bliss will not win inside the final furlong now. Big Bucks and Ruby Walsh over on the far side. Punchestown and Barry Geraghty. They've got half a furlong to go, and Ruby Walsh and Big Bucks have gone to the lead. They're out in front by 1.5 lengths and racing up towards the line. The Ladbrokes World Hurdle goes to Big Bucks. Big Bucks wins. What a tremendous festival for Ruby Walsh. In second was Punchestown, so game in defeat. A massive run by Power Station, and then the eclipsed Casbar Bliss.
Well, they thought he was a Hennessy winner at the start of the season. He wasn't. He was better than that. He's the World Hurdle winner, sponsored by Ladbrokes. Big Bucks has won it in 2009. Ruby Walsh, once again, has ridden a delightful ride on this horse, a horse that needs to be kidded, encouraged, cajoled along, and that's exactly what Ruby Walsh did. Made a mess of the last, but still managed to win this for Paul Nicholls. He had to wait for his first victory, but now they're coming thick and fast, and he's got 2 Grade 1s. The horse that pushed Big Bucks all the way to the line was Punchestown. He led from a long way out on Barry Geraghty for Nicky Henderson, and the 2 of them have run really well in defeat in second. Here's a long way back in third to Power Station, who has run the race of his life in third at the track that he absolutely adores. Andrew McNamara was on board for Eamon O'Connell, and in fourth was Casbar Bliss. Christophe Pure stealthily came into the race on the Francois Dumas charge, but he wasn't equal to either Big Bucks or Punchestown, and in the end he was left behind even for third. Eddie, that was a great race.
It was a terrific race, one of the races of the week, up there with the champion hurdle. Punchestown, he did get first run because an acute tactical move from Barry Geraghty slipped him into the lead and looked as though he was going to slip his foot.
He did, and we'll just leave it at a crucial point when Big Bucks is chasing after Punchestown, because we can hear from Stuart Machin he is with winning connections, and goodness how they'll have enjoyed that. Well, you were able to enjoy the closing stages in glorious silence, and I'm sure you enjoyed them. Stuart has obviously been given the slip by the winning connections. They've got some celebrating to do. I'm sure Stuart will catch up with them shortly, and these are the closing stages as Big Bucks, having fluffed the last, gets the better of Punchestown up the hill.
He did. Punchestown then tried to rally, but in the end Walsh and Big Bucks had the guns to hold him off. What can you say about Casbar Bliss? Cheltenham is not Haydock, I think that's what you must say. It's the hill, it's a different tempo of race.
But he fought for Ingles River all the way. Maybe Punchestown and Big Bucks are just better horses than Ingles River was last year. I'm not saying Ingles River was at his peak.
Yeah, Mighty Man, who finished beaten about 15 lengths here, didn't finish far behind Ingles Driver, beat Ingles Driver at Aintree. Maybe the great Ingles Driver wasn't quite as great as we thought he was.
Hard to I mean, Mighty Man has run a mighty race. First run for 686 days. You can't imagine that this is the top of his game. No. And the connection seems to be suggesting that Aintree is going to be the peak.
He wasn't really given a massively hard race, was he? Just, once his chance of winning had gone, he was not exactly eased off, but he's just been nudged along from the home turn, and there he is in about 6th place. He's run a really great race on his comeback. I'm sure Henry Daly will be very pleased. Big Buck's just wandering around under pressure as he hits the front.
He does that though, doesn't he? He's a quirky horse with a tremendous amount of talent.
And the reason he's running over hurdles is that Paul Nicholls said he didn't think he'd be able to win the Gold Cup because he didn't think he'd be able to beat his 3 other Gold Cup runners, and now 4 because Stade Mahazon's in there as well. So he was 5th in the pecking order effectively over fences with Nicholls, and we're going to hear from him now.
Well, let's hope so.
OK, yeah, Paul Nicholls taking the congratulations of those around him. God, he was tough today, wasn't he, Paul?
He was tough, but then he loves those races. He keeps finding. I knew we'd be better on better ground. I know we were 8 pound worse off, but I wasn't too worried about that. I just thought better ground would improve him. His best run was at Aintree on good ground last year, and he's a good horse.
Yeah, he's a good horse, isn't he? The way he's dug in. Bit of a scare at the last.
Yeah, but that probably helped him not being front too soon.
Yeah. Credit to Punchestown's as well, the runner-up.
And the blinder. I mean, 2 great horses, aren't they?
Yeah.
They run well. And, they're good young horses, a pair of them.
And that's be quite a weakness.
Oh, fantastic. And they keep continuing.
Yeah, great stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Paul Nicholls. He's now got 3 winners under his belt this week and 2 Grade 1s, one of them with Masterminded, retaining his Queen Mother Champion Chase Trophy, sponsored by Seasons Holiday, don't forget that. And now Big Bucks winning the World Hurdle, sponsored by Ladbrokes, and already receiving quotes to short of 3-1 to win the race next year with Totesport, 4-1 more likely with William Hill. And Paul Nicholls is going to enjoy this very much indeed, as despondent Christos Pure passes him in the background on Casbar Bliss, who could only finish 4th. Shortly, Big Bucks will be joining him in the winner's enclosure. Ruby Walsh has ridden this horse lyrically, because it is lyrical handling that this horse requires. He's got a tremendous amount of talent. He's got more than his fair share of quirks. He's a very good horse over fences. He's an even better one over hurdles, as he's just proved, coming a long way clear with Punchestown's. It takes 2 to make a great race, but the victor is Big Bucks. And let's hear the crowd's appreciation for a vintage World Hurdle.
Well, Ruby Walsh has got this horse to put his best foot forward. What a rider he is. He really is a tremendous jockey. And Big Bucks is a horse with oodles of talent. And Walsh just gets the best out of him. And he has won the World Hurdle here, despite that mistake at the last. It's a double on the card for Paul Nicholls. Big Bucks was 6-1 from Punchestown's 100-30. Power Station 3rd at 25-1. He was pretty well backed each way the 3rd. Casbar Bliss the favourite, only 4th, all 14 ran. Coming up, the Festival Plate, finger on the pulse. A very interesting runner here for Tom Taff and Barry Geraghty. This horse won the Jewson last year, and Tom Taff's already had a winner at the Festival with 90th minute yesterday. That's the next finger on the pulse at 4 o'clock.
Everyone's got an opinion. What's yours worth?
Ruby, this is turning out to be quite a week.
It is quite a week. He's a very good horse. He's got loads of ability.
Only one way to ride that.
Big engine, but he doesn't want to be in front too long. And when I gave him a tap on the shoulder halfway down the hill, he'd plenty of horse there, so yeah. I was just biding my time, and didn't want to be in front, so I let him fiddle the last, because I knew I had loads of horse to get back by Barry. But as soon as I've gone by him, he's pricked his 2 ears again. He's a big engine, it's just getting it out of him.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.